Now the wet walnut syrup is all over me.
Is that the way they're 44
We get right into it too. We got Dairy Queen up here. We got the blizzards going.
They have lettering.
I gotta get the large one, of course. And then by the time you get it to the trailer, it's all melting over the top, and your hands all stick. But you gotta eat it first.
Grass River, 3 R's. Grass River Railroad. Why
The intro is officially planned. So,
all right, so
you know,
shouldn't be doing anything for you. Should be good.
Yeah, make sure the volume's turned off on the TV.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll get a reverb.
Oh, if the headphones on, we should be all right.
Ken Amos Jr. BNO _51 hello everyone. Alex Brockway, FLGK Railway.
Yeah. Okay, I got that up now. So. Okay, so I can see you. I can hear you.
Tonight's show will start soon.
Okay, so I got the YouTube channel.
Right. Anybody any special shows coming up, John, other than Thursday night? You're not tomorrow night? You're not doing tomorrow? Yeah.
Oh, they can see me? No, they can't. All right.
No, they can't see you. Nobody can.
Yeah, I got that. Yep.
Not until he turns the on button on.
A couple people already know I'm here, I guess.
Yeah.
That, and I told them in my live show too. So. Now, which Amherst show was this that you guys went to?
Not last year, the year before.
Was it? So the year I was there.
Where John? I don't know if that's where John was. this. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to rumble? Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Big Bill coming to you live from the greatest city in the world, Staten Island, New York. Coming live today from Who's Big Bill Talking To? And we have a special guest with us tonight. Sparky107107 will be with us. But before we get to Sparky, let's do some homework because that's what we got to do. That's what Johnny beats me up about. I don't do enough homework. Just to let you guys know, today is this October 23rd, 2019, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And tomorrow, Thursday, the 24th of October, we're going to have Johnny's Train Talk Show. That's where you guys can come down, just like we're sitting. You guys can come on in and be a part of the show. If you got you want to bring and brag, you got something you made, you got something you're doing, and you want to show it off, this is the place to do it at Johnny's Train. And it starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it goes on for an hour. And if it's real interesting, it will go on quite longer. That's tomorrow night, October 24th, Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, on November 6th, we're going to have gentleman John Farrington is going to be on. He's relatively new to the YouTube community. He has a little bit of a layout, but I tell you, a little bit of an 8-foot layout on his shelf. He's got a lot of action. He's going to be on November 6th. And he's on the chat too. Oh, he's tuning in. Everybody's saying hello. Everybody's saying hello. They're all coming over from Sparky's live show. So they're all saying hello all over again. With that said, tonight's special guest is Sparky107107. I can't divulge his real name. He said something to do with the Witness Protection Program. So we will just call him Sparky for short. Spark, welcome to the show, brother.
G'day, Bill. How are you doing?
I'm well.
Excellent.
How was your show, first and foremost?
Well, it was a little rushed. I worked late today and then I'd get home and I had a little bit of setup to do, and then I couldn't find the proper screwdriver for what I wanted to do, so that kind of messed up a bit. And I guess my audio was a little off today too, so something I got to work on.
But other than that, the show was pretty successful, other than the little glitches.
I think so. Show must go on, they say.
That's what they say. Let's start right off. The $1 million question, Sparky. How did you get into model railroad?
Well, I always liked trains, but I didn't actually get to know anything about trains until I left the small towns and came up to live in cities. Fell in love with real stuff. Started a layout. Well, I guess my dad started a layout when I was a kid, and I wanted to play with it every once in a while, but he'd come down and he'd do it, and he'd build everything, and I still got to watch it. So that's how I started, way back when I was even before the teenage years, I guess. But as I started this layout that I've got now, like the last 4 or 5 years, wife bought me some model planes, the RC planes and stuff, and I went on YouTube and I started watching plane crashes. So I said, take these back. So she got rid of those and she brought home model train set, and I've been the model train monster ever since, as my little girl likes to say. So
okay, that's cool. So now there was a period of time that you from your teenage years, you didn't have any trains in your life, and then you got back into it in your adult years?
yeah, when I lived in small towns up north, there wasn't really a lot of trains up there, like for me to see or anything else. So never really grasped the interest of it or anything else. And then when I did move into a city or something, a lot of my other friends weren't into trains either. So didn't really get into the stuff until I started going into high school. That's when I really started to get into the Conrail system. Really fell into love with the big blues and the rail yard and watching them move trains and stuff around.
And the transition period that you went through with that, how did that? Because I remember seeing you on YouTube. I remember uh, I caught you in the early part of your YouTube career. You were shooting
Yeah.
from the basement. And then I went on vacation to Pennsylvania. It was in the summertime, and you had a major storm. And your
Yeah, the
got like
basement flooded.
right, your basement got flooded.
Yeah.
Then you seemed to like take off right from there. I mean, catastrophe always seems to elevate the unfortunate always seems to elevate subscriptions, whether it's people want to see a train wreck or a car accident, it seems to
Oh,
elevate
that was definitely a train wreck.
yeah,
Yeah, when I had that flood, I lost the furnace, the water heater, half the wall in the basement because it's an old stone wall, like from way back, like the way houses used to be built, just stones put in with mortar and stuff like that. I lost that, and I can remember doing the video saying, like, I had the flood, I'm pretty much done. I've lost everything. Like, a lot of my trains were gone then and too. And it was this community that really rallied behind that. Once that really started and people were helping me out, I felt not an obligation, but just an overwhelming joy for the community itself and a love again for trains. And it was the fact of I had to redo it. I wanted to get that fixed up. Once I had my house, my family all situated again, uh, the furnace, because it kind of gets cold up here, so we had to have heat and water heater, and I got the wall fixed and things like that. And even people from this community came over and helped me do that kind of stuff. So, but
So
right afterwards, it was like, I got to get back into model trains.
sure. So it kind of refurbished your belief in humanity, more or less.
That's exactly what it did.
Mm, mm. That was pretty good. Were you thinking about quitting right after that? I mean, after that flood happened, I'm sure that was like, that was devastating to you and to your family as well. But were you like your priority wasn't model railroading? I'm assuming.
No, my priority was my family. So,
Yeah, of course. And then everything else was on the back burner. But then I mean, I know a lot of guys came out and took your engines and uh,
yep.
cleaned them up for you and and stuff like that. So that had to be like uplifting to think that a complete stranger across the country who didn't even know you said, "Hey, send those to me and I'll clean them up and don't worry about
Yeah, that was 2448 Toyman, and he was actually my very first subscriber. I'll tell you the YouTube story here in a second, but he contacted me through YouTube again and said, "Listen, I live in any of your trains and stuff that got destroyed, your engines, bring them to me and I'll fix them up for you. That's what I do." And I'm like, wow, like, okay. And I didn't know anything basically about DCC or like I'm an electrician by
it." Right.
trade, but still, it meant nothing to me. I've never opened a locomotive up at that point. So I took them all to him, and of course, he opened them up, and there was rust on some of them, and just the soot and the dirt that was involved in all these things. And he's like, "Yeah, just leave them here, and I'll get them all fixed up." And I'm like, and right away, I'm thinking, you know what? This is going to cost me more than these trains ever cost me to start with. I can't afford this stuff. And he's like, "No, I'm going to do it for nothing." There was no way I could turn my back on model railroading or this community after that. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I know the overwhelming outpouring was truly effective because a lot of people came out and it was like spread across the entire YouTube channel and everything,
Yeah.
and that utterly, absolutely, fantastic. But in doing so, you kind of like in this way, you've kind of like are repaying back in a way, like you had the Steamtown thing going.
Hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that Steamtown adventure. That was something that everybody was talking about last summer.
Well, last May was actually my second time at Steamtown. My first year I did it, I think I put it up on YouTube about 3 weeks before I went down. I said, listen, does anybody want to go to Steamtown? I'm taking my family down, and 9 people showed up at that one. And that was officially the first YouTube meet and greet, I guess. And when that actually happened, I thought, I can actually use to do more that way to get the community together and people can meet who they're actually watching on your screens. So I threw it out there
Mm-hmm.
6 months in advance for Steamtown, and 90 people showed up at that one, Bill, and it was amazing.
90. And how and as for you organizing that, how was that for you to see 90 fellow YouTubers on the same platform, same content, even though different railroad, different scales, but everything. How was that? Did you have a moment where you sat back and said, "Oh my goodness gracious, look at
Yeah,
that"?
yeah, I did. I brought a guest book, and I threw that on the hood of my car, and people kept coming up to sign it. More people come up to sign it, and the group just gradually got bigger as the time went on, and we probably hung out in the parking lot for about an hour. But there was a time I stood back and I went, "Really, I did this." Like, I shouldn't say I did this because the community did this. I hosted event. I put a couple things together for the event, but it was the community that got together. But yes, I was very much overwhelmed at the fact that YouTube could do that.
Yeah,
Like my first video I put out on YouTube, I made a tree, and the only reason why I posted this video was so I remembered how I did that. I never actually at that time thought YouTube was. I never looked at other people's videos or anything else. I just posted that video. And like I said, 2448 Toy Man was the first guy, and all of a sudden he commented on it, and I'm like, oh my god, people can see.
right.
I put it up for me to see. At that point, I never realized that YouTube could turn into friendships. Like when I first start watching YouTube and stuff like that, you're watching videos of people's layouts and stuff. You're not really thinking of the people that are behind them. And then once you start getting deeper into the community and stuff like that, there is people like you, myself. There's so many people, right? And it's just great to connect with everybody, put the face with everybody, and if I can, get everybody in hopefully one spot so we can all meet, have a good time.
Sure. Dave, Sparky, John's going to break in here for a minute. He's got to make an announcement.
All right, for those that are having a lot of buffering going on, the only good thing you can do is if you're on YouTube is to go up to the viewer, move your cursor around. You'll see the live button at the bottom left. Click on that. That should stop the buffering. If you want to, there is a link in the post
I'll
for
have to watch the
Twitch.
replay to see what the announcement was.
Yeah. If you want to, you can go to twitch.tv/Small Railroading Live, all one word. There you can watch it, and there is a chat too. But it's full 1080p there with no buffering. But for YouTube, just click the live button to keep the buffering out. That should work for you. All right, I'm off.
Okay, he was discussing how Sparky was discussing how they're complaining about buffering, and so he told them they can go to Twitch, which has no buffering
Gotcha.
like that, so they can get a better quality picture and stuff like that. So where were we? Uh, okay, so Container Man 68 says, "I'm driving and I got very little buffering." Okay, great. That's good. That's good. That's all good. Uh, he's speeding, most likely. That's what we want.
He's trying to catch up to the
Yeah,
signal.
Central Jersey Conrail in N scale, and it buffered right in the middle of that. Okay, Joe. Anyway, so let me, Sparky. So now you got this thing organized, right? And you got these people down there. Was there any one person that you really truly wanted to meet down there that you kind of like were like, hey, I really like what this guy's putting out there, and I'm gonna finally get to meet him, and you met him?
Yes and no. First off, I wanted to meet everybody. So, but the one person like Roy Smith really reached out to me during the Steamtown thing, and he helped organize the layout tour afterwards. So it was a more of a nighttime thing for us. I think we all met at 8 o'clock, and I really wanted to meet him just because he lives down in Panama, and I love the videos and stuff he puts out. And to tell you the truth, I said hi. I took a picture with him, or somebody else took a video of us standing together. We did the dining car thing together, but I never actually got to talk to him. He was a lot like me, one of the bigger names in YouTube. So he was busy with a lot of people talking, and I was busy with a lot of people talking, and him and I never actually connected to have a conversation.
Right. Sometimes in situations like that, when you host a party, you don't really get to really be the hostess with the mostest. You're taking care of details, and management is always coming up to you and saying, "Here, you need to sign this, or we need to do this." So you don't really ever truly get to enjoy yourself at your own party and everything.
Well, I did
I'm
enjoy
sure you
myself
did.
quite a bit. Like
I'm sure
meeting
you did.
everybody that was there was awesome. So
Right. How was the dining room? That was something that was that seemed pretty unique.
now with the dining car thing, I'm not. I like to say I'm not a people person. I really don't like big groups. Like if I go into a shopping center or something, I actually want to start tripping people.
Okay.
Just as a joke, I guess. Like I don't like the big crowds or anything, but the dining car was awesome. The food was great. They gave us 3 different entrees that we could choose from and everything. Um, it went off without a Erie Lackawanna Dining Car Preservation Society put on an awesome, um, I'd like to say show. Um, the waiting staff, Paul, everybody. It was an amazing thing. And the reason why I started off with saying I'm not a people person is I've never won in a closed environment such as a dining car, getting up and doing a speech in front of 50 other people that I've just met. And I went around afterwards and I shook everybody's hand. And of course, I asked for a little bit more money so we could donate that again to the Dining Car Preservation Society. And right here, I'll thank everybody that we pulled off an extra $500 for those guys. That was great just
Good.
doing that.
Good.
But the thing that really got me is even my wife didn't videotape my speech. Nobody got it. Nobody.
Oh no.
So, but
Oh my
it, it was
goodness.
it was an amazing experience just to spend that quality time with people. I'd love to do it again when we do the next meet and greet, but it takes some work
Yeah.
to do that kind of thing.
I think what's his name writes here. Nicholas Ting Ju. I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Nicholas. Please forgive me. He says, I think he enjoyed running me over to hug my wife.
Yeah, he sent me a text when he first got to Steamtown. He's like, "We're here. Where are you?" And then he showed up, and his wife's just behind him, and I actually pushed him out of the way to give his wife a hug. So
There you go.
that's more of an inside joke between the two of us, I
Taladogden
think. So
Valley Railroad and Coal Company says they did a great and awesome job. John Dilly, it was a great experience. Hastings BNSF N Scale Modeler says I was lucky to spend some time with both Roy and Sparky. A lot of people looking for time with them, both very gracious. Cloverdale Red, hey, there he is. Cloverdale Rails in the house. Rainbow Bell is in the house. Hey, gang.
hey, Ray, how are you?
Haven't seen him in a while. Yeah, he says, Nicholas says, you got it right. No one pronounces my name right, but you got it. That's because I'm from Brooklyn, Nick.
Nicholas Ting.
The Steve. Okay, so now we got another. Now you're organizing another one for in May in this good state and the great state and the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. What's that?
Okay, so that's Strasbourg that we're going to be doing. That's going to be May 16th and 17th. And basically, it's going to be the same thing. I'm just telling everybody where me and my family are going to be taking a bit of a vacation. We're staying at the Red Caboose Motel 15th and 16th of May. And throwing it out there really early, like this is more than 6 months. And already, like I've got a sign up video that I posted the other night. I think there's about 46 people already signed up. But again, it's the same as Steamtown. Just everybody get together, everybody meet, have a good time, talk. I don't know if you can say it's a chance to get to meet your idol, whoever your idol is, or the people that you look up. It's a community, so
Well, if I go, I'm definitely bringing 1,000 8x10 color headshots, and I'll be autographing them for anybody who wants them for $2 a piece. For $3, I'll personalize it, and for $5, I'll put "choo choo" on it as well. That table will be set up just outside the museum, and first come, first serve. So, being such a popular guy as I am, they may not be there that long. But hey, that's another story for another time.
well, the one question I got for that is that $10 or $5 Canadian or American?
Uh, American.
Oh, I'm out.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But that, I got to say, Spark, how long have you been on YouTube? Now, you did YouTube videos for quite a while. You had videos where you were showing the flood, the aftermath of the flood, the cleaning up, the boiler restored, the steps being worked on, repaired, and you put the layout back together again. And then with all that going on, you said, hey, then you transformed from videos, you did live shots down there, to doing a live stream like every Wednesday at 7 p.m. So how has that transition worked for you? I mean, are you still doing YouTube videos as much, or are you now incorporating it into your live stream on Wednesdays?
I think it was about 4 years ago I actually got started in YouTube, kind of the full time, and trying to post a video or two a week back then. But now that I've got the Wednesday night live chat going at 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays, I try to post one video a week and then my live chat. And as far as the transition goes, it's again, I say this a lot. It's more about the community. It gives the people a place to hang out, talk to other people. If you got problems on your layout, questions you throw it up in the chat. A lot of times I miss what's going on in my chat because it's going so fast or whatever, and I'm doing my own thing anyway. But people can get help or advice or an attaboy or whatever you want. Moderators are there to make sure there's no funny business going on, I guess you could say. So keeps it clean.
Yeah. But do you enjoy doing the live stream better than you do like posting a video on what you're doing on your layout?
No, I guess it's the same to me. When I post a video about my progress of my shed right now, unfortunately, it's not a layout; it's a shed. Um, I'm happy to share that kind of stuff with my progress because I know what's coming. I know what the future holds, and a lot of it is I like to post it to share even with myself. Like I've gone back and watched some of my older stuff just to remember it, and I think that's kind of cool. So my
Well,
Wednesday night live chat, I really enjoy doing that kind of stuff. Most of the time, there is a couple because I do it weekly. There is a couple times I sit back and go, "What am I gonna do this week?" Like I need some more advice. I need a topic. I need props. I need something to talk about, and it gets pretty
yeah,
difficult. So
it does.
if I really had to choose, but videos are a lot easier to do. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, well it's one and done. You shoot the video. There is no interaction. It's just comments. Vinny BSF 6951. He says, "Hey Vincent, how are you, buddy? A former Brooklynite guy living out in Arizona." He says, "Sparky, how many people are you expecting for Strasbourg?"
Well, expecting for Strasbourg, I'd like to say 150.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of bigger names coming this time too. It's not just, like I said, it's not just about me. I'm just putting the place on the map, I guess, for everybody to meet up and stuff like that. But we've got Container Man 68 showing up. Vinny BNSF 6951 is showing up. I'm pretty sure John Dilly's showing up. Roy Smith is going to show up again from Panama. Ron Piskel. Steve Brown is on the fence right now, but he's pretty sure he's going to show up. Creative Rails again from Anthony's showing up. Like there's so many people that they've got pretty big names. Everybody to me would want to meet them. So
Yeah, sure.
that's why I'm
Brockway
saying
says that Alex Brockway, FLGK Railway, says he'll be there. Nick says, I'm showing up. John Dilly, I'm going to meet everyone that shows up.
yeah.
And hey, listen to this. Listen to this. You got a good N-scale Union Pacific says, Evanston Subdivision says, I think it takes a lot of courage to go live. He's right. It does.
You get used to it.
Yeah, after a while, it becomes like you're just shooting the breeze with somebody, and it turns in. Oh, Eric Hall, hello, Bill and Dave and Sparky. Hey, Eric Hall, IMRRO.com is in the house. Everybody.
Good day, Eric. Met him a couple times too. He's a good guy to hang out with, so especially if you like pinball.
Oh, Indian Head Valley Railroad, Wilma. I have a special message for you. I changed my phone service and I lost your phone number. If you could tomorrow call me in the I'd appreciate it. So
C to B
my
and
number is
Wilmer's.
still the same.
See, Wilmer's another big name. I think everybody would want to come and meet. So
Wilma. I'm in the same boat as you, Foggy. When I got started with this, I was very surprised when I went up. My first time I went to Amherst, and I got to meet everybody. I got to meet Miles Hale. Miles Hale was the guy I grew up with in the 80s when I was started in model railroading. I went and bought all his DVDs and Miles Hale was the man. He was the man. And I got to meet him and I got to meet all these other great model railroaders. And, it was just so much, to see that what we had in common, politically, religiously, socially, we may come from different parts and different areas of likes and dislikes, but we all can agree on model railroading. And it was such it's such a great thing when you meet the people that you see on the video and you get to talk to them and you get to know them and and this way you make lifelong friends. There where you make people that are going to be in your life basically forever.
yeah,
And it is a good feeling. It is a good feeling.
it is. Like I said, I never once thought YouTube could do that. Make friendships from watching videos.
Oh, I think that they do. I think it does. I think you cannot help but if your personality, and this is just my own opinion, if it's genuine and it comes across, people get attracted to it, and they feel like, hey, this is a guy I could sit down with a coffee with, and we could shoot the breeze and talk, and and stuff like that. And it's even better when you contribute to it, and you can help others with it. You know, like that's basically what with the Johnny's Train Talk show is like.
Yeah.
If you got a problem going on, you can come on here. Like, right, it's not, obviously I have you as a guest, but on Johnny's Train Talk show, you can get everybody from everybody. If they have a webcam and a good internet, they can get on here and they can, show, hey, look, I got this, here, I made this, and I want to show it off. And, that's the beauty of it, that's the beauty of it. And share some of the tips you get. I remember I did a video on my YouTube channel about taking pieces of sandpaper and painting them black and putting them on the roof acts like gravel.
Mm-hmm.
He emailed me and said, "Hey, can I use that idea?" I said, "Use it. You can have it. I stole it from somebody else. Come on, what are you kidding me? It's not. There's no, it's not. Doesn't belong to me. It belongs to all of us out there. So and stuff like that. So well, what would you say? Would this be the third annual get together, meet and greet
Yeah,
at Strasbourg? So this would be the third one.
yeah.
Have you ever been to Strasbourg before?
Never. I've only watched about 3 videos on it actually too. So, but um, because Roy Smith has been to Strasbourg many times, and Tom's Trains and Things, that's another gentleman and his wife that are coming. They've
Yeah,
been to
that's right.
Strasbourg, and I threw it out there after Steamtown last time. Is anybody have a place they want to meet up? And Strasbourg came up quite a bit. So I watched a couple of videos and said, you know what? There's lots to do there. We can spend 2 days there, so let's do the Strasbourg thing. And
Well,
yeah, it's the third annual. I hope to keep it going. So
I think also the good choice about having Strasbourg is that you're in the heart of Lancaster County,
mhm,
Pennsylvania, and that's Amish country.
right,
And with the Amish, you get to eat. You get to eat. There's Miller's restaurant, little crowded, but there's also a couple of other places out there that you got to try, and they're buffets, but they are you won't go hungry. Trust me, you won't go hungry.
well, you said the key word, buffet.
Buffet, Miller's, you got other family style restaurants where they pile it on. I mean, big, deep, and the only thing they ask you to do is just get a clean plate when you go back up. The
Yep,
only thing, and reasonable price. So, and plus they got the horse and buggy if they want to do. There's other things other than the Railroad Museum there, which is there, and right next door to the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum is the Choo Choo Barn, which is a hobby store. So you guys can save your pennies up and drop your dime right there,
exactly.
and stuff like that. So I think I really do. I think that's pretty soon. You might have to quit being an electrician and open up a full-time travel thing for model railroad, these trips.
I think I'll just keep it nice and simple and just
Yeah,
put a video out there and say let's
there
go.
you go.
So,
There you go.
but I'm really looking forward to the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum there, just because they have a Conrail unit inside. So,
Oh, you'll love that. And they let you go up into the engine.
well, I hope so.
No, and most of the things they don't. But the Conrail engine, they let you go up into the and see how it works.
Excellent.
And actually has a clean bathroom in the cab, but that's a misnomer because any bathroom that I've ever seen in a diesel engine is like in the worst of the worst.
Still
Central
want to go outside.
Jersey, yeah, Central Jersey Conrail and N Scale says, "What are you talking about, Bill? You don't like to eat." No, I just got this. This shirt was made by Mohammed, the tent maker. Because I can't step away from the dessert table. Well, who do we got here? I love the idea, Indian Hide Valley Railroad. I love the idea that we're all getting together again. Hey,
So do I.
yep, everybody says so. They are.
Right on.
So now we've gotten this whole experience of starting this in town now on to Strasbourg, down to something a little bit more personal. Now you've taken the layout out. That layout has been dismantled,
Yeah, that's pretty much gone. There's
and then
still a
you
couple
went.
of pieces of bench work downstairs, but the wife's using that as a workbench now because she's right into the woodworking and stuff like that. So,
Okay, so you've taken that and you went to the city, got permits,
yeah,
and started building your new train shed.
yeah. Well, originally I wanted to build 2 sheds outside, and the city wouldn't let us do that. So then I wanted to build one big shed with 2 levels because I wanted Amy to have a nice area too, like a nice big area, plus outside, plus the
Now,
woodworking.
Amy's your daughter? Oh,
Amy's my
your
wife.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Caitlin's our daughter. So,
Okay.
but woodworking and model trains just don't go hand to hand. So I had to get out of the basement because she was in the other half of the basement. So out into the shed that I'm building now, which is 45 by 13. And like I said, originally we were going to share that two levels or something, but I just looked at her and said, sawdust and model trains. They're not going to go good together at all. So you get the basement, I get outside.
No.
So.
Yeah.
So we're
Now,
almost done. We're getting the electrical done into it now. Hopefully I get that done this week before I take off for another vacation. So should be, I'm hoping before Christmas we get some bench work up. So
now will you be able, since you do live in Canada, where the winters seem to be a little chilly at times, will you be able to could you be in the train room, the train shed all year round?
I'm going to do a spray in foam insulation on the walls. Really locks in the heat or the cold, for whatever time. But as long as I get some kind of heat in there, I should be all right.
Right. Right.
I want to keep it climate controlled year round, obviously, because you just don't want the track flexing up and down, and it gets pretty hot up here too, right? So
It's not bad, but have you got a plan for the
only in my head so far. So I'm
okay.
hoping to have 3 levels. Kind of when it goes around the one side, it'll have a little runaround track, so it'll look again like my other layout, where it'll look like a double main, but really it's only a single. And hopefully lots of industry and stuff branched off it. I really want to model the Saint that I grew up around when I was going to high school, and with the Conrail stuff. That's probably going to take a good 20 feet. So to do it almost prototypical as I can. And to get up to 3 different levels, I'm going to have to do some kind of a helix system or something. So if anybody knows how to do a helix, we got first level to second level. Then it's going to run around, come back. So then we need second level to the third level. It's going to do the same thing, come back, and then we got to get from the third level all the way back down to the main level. So 3 helixes all in one spot.
Yeah, Eric Hall says, well, that sounds like a very small plan in your head. So have you reached out to the track planner, Mr. Bill Baronic, for any advice?
I did, and he sent me an email back about some of the things I should be looking at, so which was good of him. I almost wanted to send him another email saying, well, you design it and I'll build it. So
Yeah, true. We also have to send the check with him too. So that's,
yeah.
I mean, he's good for advice as well. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we stepped up to him when I needed some help on this layout. So he's open to it, which is a good thing. Nicholas Tin says, I love track planning stuff. So, but we talked the other night. You said the center was you wanted to model the rail yard, and your centerpiece was going to be the station and the headquarters.
Yeah. Canada Southern Headquarters, and the station model that I've got is about 6 feet long. So
Yeah, that was the one that was, and you got the guy parted with it. What was the story behind that?
Laser Arts made 7 of them altogether, and he kept the last one for himself. And a couple of my friends own model train stores, like brick and mortar stores here. Ron Perry, another friend of mine, all knew this guy, knew he had one model left, and said how passionate I was about what I wanted to do. And he parted with it. And it wasn't expensive, but it wasn't cheap. So.
And who put it? And
But
who did you collaborate to put it together with?
Ron Perry put it together for me. So
And that was an excellent job that he did.
he did that in less than a week.
Really?
That would have took me over a year to build for sure.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, and he's got some of the interior detail done too. So
So that's going to be the focal point of your layout. Is that obviously will sit in the middle of it, and the trains will. And then how big is the yard? How the yard that you want to replicate?
Well, like I said, if I do the yard from like the 1940s, 1950s, when it first comes in, it had chassis system going through it also, like when I remember it, plus Conrail. Um, then at the far, far end of the yard, which got tore down when I was there, but previous, obviously, had a roundhouse that might have been 20 stalls big with the turntable in it and two tracks that ran through it and around it. And plus, it had a transfer table, car shop, locomotive shop in there. So the actual yard's huge. I'm thinking it's going to take, like I said, probably, if I want to do it correctly and as prototypical as I can for back then, it's going to be 20 feet for sure.
20. Wow, that's 20 feet. That absolutely would be the centerpiece of your layout.
It's
Yeah.
just the passion. It's what got me interested in trains right to start with. So,
Right. Right. So would you model it in a specific era, or would it just be, because Conrail wasn't around in the 40s, and
now,
yeah.
and that's going to be the kind of the catch 22 that if I want to put the roundhouse and the turntable in it, then it's got to be back in the 1940s type thing. But like you said, Conrail wasn't there, diesel wasn't there, chassis system wasn't there. So I'm going to have to obviously freelance the time era of it, saying that way.
Okay.
So
All right. All right. Well, Cloverdale Rail says, ask Eric Hall. He's very good for prototypical. And then Eric Hall replies, Cloverdale Rail, ask Eric Hall. He's very good at prototypical. And Eric answers, only an N scale. Biggest
yeah,
trying to help Joe G. HO just takes up too much space to model anything worthwhile. Nicholas Ting says, I have to agree with Eric. That's why I went to N scale. You're doing Joe, correct?
I am in doing HO, yes.
Okay.
But
Okay.
hey, any scale, if it's trains, it's a good scale.
I agree. I agree. I agree with you 100%. I know exactly what you're saying. Uh, why run naked for wants to know what and where is Ron Pierre these days?
Ron Perry? Um,
Ron Perry.
yeah, he's got a new job working in steel mills down in the Hamilton area, so that takes up a lot of his time. He's we call them more like grunts, I guess, but he's in the learning process of doing the job. So it takes a lot of his time, a lot of the overtime. It's long hours. It's hot work, like, and it's very. He's lost probably 60 pounds, that's for sure, just doing this job. Looks
Really?
great, looks great, and everything else, but it takes up a lot of his time until he actually gets some time under his belt and he's not the newbie anymore, like the new guy on the block type thing. He's got to work the hours. So
Yeah, so you got to put your time in. I know what that's like. Everybody, when you're new, you got to, like, you got to put the time in. So no weekends off, nights, overnights, stuff like that.
no, and it's kind of funny too because he come over and he's helped me with the shed a couple times, and he's got a pager, an old fashioned pager, sits in his pocket, and when it beeps and vibrates, he's got to leave. So
Oh, he's on call for his job as well.
24/7.
Oh, wow. They're telling us that your screen is freezing up, Sparky. I guess it's just the buffering.
Well, from me, I don't see any buffering. So,
Yeah,
but that's because we're on a different system altogether too. So,
yeah, sure. Rainbow Bell says, I tell you, my new layout at 36 feet by 8 feet is a monster compared to what I had. Still doing HO.
yeah, that's going to be a big layout that Ray's got going. So, him and I are going to have a little talk about his electrical plans, though.
Yeah, yeah. So the shed deal is are you going, do you think that, are you overwhelmed by it? I mean, we all want the bigger, better layout, but when you started building it, did you get like, whoa, what am I doing here?
No, actually, I'm still looking at it going, it's not big enough for what I want to do.
Oh.
So now, of course, all the N scale people in the chat are going, well, switch to N scale. You'd have lots of room. But
Yeah, obviously you'd have more trackage and more, stuff like that to work with and everything.
yeah.
You know, Rachel says, LOL, Sparky107107.
Yeah, him and I are going to be talking in a couple nights anyway. So
Andrew Gilmore is signing in from Australia. Hello, Andrew. Good to have you here. But so, all right. So what would be, if you were able to do what you wanted to do, what would be your ideal size layout? I mean, if the city said to you, okay, here you go, buddy, stamped and approved, go ahead, rock and roll, what would it be?
probably in a nice arena would be the perfect size for what I want to do. The Canada Southern ran all the way from Chicago to New York, and it many spurs, many sidings, many industries on it. Like it had oil springs, so it had oil refinery, oil pumps, cattle, you
Okay.
name it. Plus the bridge that went across Niagara Falls was pretty awesome. It actually has the waterfall in the background. Some of the pictures that I've seen. Just it'd be nice if I could do the whole thing prototypical from one end to the other. It would just be awesome. And of course, the yards in Chicago, St. Thomas, and New York were massive yards to start. Obviously, you can't have everything you want. So,
No, obviously you can't, but then again, you'd have to convert that to a club layout.
oh, this is, I'm hoping, going to be converted into a club layout once I get it started. So,
Oh,
and not an official club per se, but I've tell a few people about it. You want to come over, you play with trains or build something and scenery or something like that. So, a club, but more of a friendship club type thing.
okay,
Like,
okay, okay. That works. When you had the train, when you had the layout downstairs, I'm always curious about that because whenever you used to watch your videos, and your basement, like you said, it was old stone put together, and then they added the other section, the new section of your
yeah.
house, it was poured concrete. It had to be pretty much very dusty and dirty. How long did it take you to clean? I mean, if you cleaned your track on a Monday, could you go back downstairs on a Tuesday and operate, or did you have to re-clean the track?
I could just go down and probably just run trains, probably for a good week, and it would have been fine and everything else. But the one thing with me is whenever I run a train, I always start with so I go through with one of the Walters box cars with the little stone on it.
Yeah, I have those. Yeah,
Yeah, and then I think it's the CMX tank car that's got the cleaning
right.
solution in it. So I run that around a couple times first, and then I'll start running trains again.
Oh, okay. So, because I used to watch your track was flawless, and your trains ran, without any stuttering, and stop and go. You weren't doing the finger pushing,
Yeah, no.
and that was something that I always used to. Because that when I had this layout downstairs in the basement, the dust would fall from the joists up above, and I would constantly cleaning. So it's one of those things where you get enough cleaning. Let me just run my train for crying out.
Yeah, I think that was the best thing I think I ever did was always two runs with the track cleaning train first, and then you could pretty much do whatever you wanted to do after that. So,
Teledogan Valley Railroad and Coal Company says I want to model the entire East Broad Top Railroad.
mhm.
Dale PRR Guy Bayside downsized with this new layout I'm doing now. Much easier to maintain with just being by myself running. Nicholas says, was he watching the same Sparky? I don't know what that means. Alex Brockway, FLGK Railway. I gotta go. Take care. Goodbye. You too, brother. Be well. BNSFN 6951. Vinny says, dinner is ready. See you all on Friday at 8 p.m. That's Vinny's live stream too, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's Vinny's live stream called?
Not
Friday
sure he
Night
actually
with
has a
Vinny?
name, but we just call him Cousin Vinny. So
Cousin Vinny. Okay, so Friday night, 8 p.m. Central Time or Western?
8 p.m. is Eastern time. That's the one thing when people do announce like live streams and stuff like that. Everybody likes to stay Eastern time, and that's just so I guess us Eastern people don't get confused.
Well, we used to. Well, you're absolutely right. Because when we started this, Mike, Model Man Mike insisted that everything be Central Time.
Yeah.
And it used to like confuse me and John completely, you know. I mean, obviously, me and John went to two different high schools together, so our concept of time and space
Hmm.
is quite different than Mike's. We then finally agreed everything's Eastern Standard Time. That's
Well,
it.
when you guys first started out, weren't you on at 10 o'clock Eastern?
We were on 10 p.m. Yes, we were on Saturday. We were on 10 p.m.
Right.
and we went almost for 2.5 hours. And then we cut it back to, as you know, doing a live stream, it can be very exhausting, even if you're sitting down. You know, there's a lot of work,
Especially when you run out of water.
especially when you run out of water, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to be on for quite a number of hours, and then we scaled it back to an hour because anything over that, we start repeating ourselves. And
Now, are you guys still doing the after chat show?
yes, they do the after chat show. Everybody and anybody's invited to log on to it. So desire to discuss or be a part of it. It's kind of freelance and not necessarily everybody talks about the show per se, but
Yeah.
if, like, say you came in afterwards, yeah, people may want to ask you some questions that maybe I overlooked or weren't approached. You know, it's called the nightly chat, and they do it basically every night. You know,
Oh,
it's basically every night. So if you're out there wondering what goes on after 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, they're having a nightly chat, and anybody and everybody's welcome. Like I said, all you need is a webcam and a good, you know, you know,
good connection.
connection. Yeah, Indian Head Valley Railroad says, I usually run out of time when I have a live stream. I understand. Yeah, that happens. That happens.
It's a lot better when you run out of time because you're trying to keep it to the hour, but it's really hard when you run out of topic. And I find myself I'll still have maybe 10 minutes left of the hour to go, and I've run out of stuff to talk about. And I'll start tripping over words, talking too fast, and then I can't wait to actually shut it off. It's like, oh my God.
Well, I'll give you a little tip on that. What you should do is always hold a nugget to the end.
Mm.
Yourself running short on time, you just pull that nugget out and just use that. That will give you at least 15 minutes of talk time. And then if you finish on time, then you can always save that little nugget for later on and stuff.
Yeah, I'm usually running about 10 minutes late on most of mine. So
Yeah, that's usually about what we do. Yeah. Kyle's, let's see, Kyle's Chessie Cumberland division. I'm building to the point of rock stations for my layout if you want to watch. Now somebody's asking him. Uh, let's see, basically. Let's see, John Dilly at Kyle's Chessie Cumberland. You're doing a great job. Okay, John, have you ever met John Dilly?
me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's been at he was at Strasbourg. He's coming to Strasbourg. He was at Steamtown.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
been to Vinny's. He's gonna be at Vinny's again when I go down again. So I actually spent more time with John Dilly than I did my wife.
Yeah. Wow, okay.
Okay, maybe not, but
John Dilly was one of the first guys I ever sent a T-shirt to.
oh, right on.
Yeah, John Dilly in my opinion, is a gentleman and a scholar,
Oh, he's a great guy.
isn't he?
He is.
Everybody's talking about where they're living now. So, Oh yeah. Wilma says Indian Head Valley Railroad. Talk about couplers. You can talk about couplers forever.
Oh, I know.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And John Dilly just replied. He says, "I still have that T-shirt, Bill." Oh yeah, I tell you, it's a good community, a great community, and uh, I think that you know moving into this community and being a part of this community, as much as you give, you get back.
Hmm.
You know, you know. So that's important. Like what you give to the and I'm sure for you, Sparky, I know in the last year or so, you've had some pretty uh, tragic things happen in your life, and also I think the community rallied around you during those times. And that's got to be something that you cannot forget,
No, can't.
or actually, downplay, because I think they were important in your life. I mean, I'm sure you had family, your wife, and others around you who gave you the emotional support you needed, but also in the railroad community, I think the outpouring of love and concern for you were very genuine and very sincere.
Like I said, it's an awesome community to be part of. So, like, and the Strasburg and Steamtown is kind of my way of giving back to the community as best as I know how, to get everybody together, like to have the community rally behind me and show support for the certain things that have happened to my, and it's, I just want to get everybody back together. It's even for me to shake everybody's hand is,
Right,
to me, is awesome, because
right.
that's just putting the face, the touch, the person, the human is right there then, right? So just a lot closer. And the model railroading community, just in itself, is a very close knit group of people. Like you go on to like car channels or hunting channels or I don't know what other cooking channels, but how many of them can say, "Oh, we do meet and greets once a year, and I've met this person, and this person's awesome, and I wish I could meet this person," and then go out and like I don't know about yourself, Bill, but I've had people call me up or email me and say, "Listen, can I come to your place and meet you?" And
Hmm.
David Atkins is a clean example of that for me. He was in the UK for a couple months, and then he sends me an email and says, "Can I stop at your place on my way home for a couple days?" And I'm like, "Well, of course you can. I've never met the man, don't know him from Adam, but yeah, for sure. I'll pick up." My wife picked him up at the airport. He spent 2.5 days here. I drove him back to the airport, had a great time, and never knew him the day before he showed up. And now he's a great friend. That's this community for you. That's what you people in the chat, that's what you're going to get right there. So
And now you have a lifelong friend.
I sure do.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got quite a few of them now. So
yeah. That's great. Talladega Valley Railroad and Coal Company says to Sparky, he says, "Thanks for all you do for the community, Spark."
I'd like to say you're welcome, but I'm not sure what I do except get
And
us all together.
I
So
think that's what counts. I think that's a good thing. Anytime you get like-minded people together, and for 1 minute or two, or for an hour, whatever long you're broadcasting or sending a video of a content out, you know, in today's time that we're living in now, it's tough. It's very tough. Politically, socially, whatever. If you can basically get people together you know, and they can forget about whatever it is that's going on in their life for an hour, then you've succeeded. You've succeeded in doing something, and helping them forget it, because it's still going to be that way. You're gonna leave in an hour, and all those problems are still going to be there. At least for an hour, you were able to forget about what's going on and move forward with things, and it may even give you a better perspective of things. You know, you know,
I can see that too.
yeah,
sit back and relax for a little bit, and then all of a sudden maybe the light bulb turns
Yeah,
on. So,
I absolutely agree. Eric Hall says, I met Stephen Atwell that way doing a show in Tempe, Arizona. Called me up and has been one of my best confidants from that point on. That I have to agree with. I've met Steve, is now living in New York City, and he's been down to my house many of times to help me on my layout and operate. And great guy, great guy. So
right on.
anyway. Anyway, Sparky, I want to thank you very much for being a part of this show, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that you did an hour-long show prior to coming on our show and doing this, and I'm grateful that you were and honored that you did come on and speak with us. And I know you must be tired because you worked a full day, then plus all this. So thank
Kind of
you
shows in
very,
my
very
eyes,
much.
does it?
No, it doesn't. You're very gracious in consenting to do this. I'm glad that you did.
Oh, and thank you for having me on, and it's been fun, and I've watched it all the time, so it was kind of cool to actually be part of it too. So really
Well,
enjoyed myself. So
thank you very much. And just closing out here, tomorrow, Thursday, the 24th of October, we're going to have Johnny's Train Talk Show down at the old general store. That means you guys can mosey on down to the general store, pull up a chair, sit around the old potbelly stove. If you want to play a little checkers, play a little checkers. But if you want to do, bring and brag, you can get on just like we're on here. You have a webcam. You can join Johnny and the crew of merry men talking about model railroading and be a part of it. And if you have a question that's stumping you about something, whether it's about couplers or track or what kind of a yard, a fiddly yard, or whatever it is that you want to know about, Johnny's Train Talk Show tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. November 6th, who's Big Bill talking to next? John 2816, I believe. That's his YouTube handle. I may be wrong on that, but
I
John,
think you got it right.
that's it. What is it? 26. John 2618.
All right.
I don't know why they put me in charge here. I really don't. They're not paying me enough. That's the problem.
We get paid for this?
Shh, don't tell anybody. But anyway, next November 6th, 2019, we're going to have John 2618 on Farrington. Like I said, Price got a little bit of a layout, little shelf layout. We got a lot of action on it. So tune in November 6th. From all of us at Model Railroading Live, we want to thank you for tuning in tonight, because if you're not watching, we're just talking to dead air. So you take care. God bless. And guess what? We'll see you guys on the radio. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.